She's actually not painful, except if you put it right on the pad, which hurts. Which I've learned, it's painful, but you get a lot of blood, which I don't need much blood with this one.
So you've got all your tools here. What's that?
Lancer.
All right, tell them what you're doing, baby.
Now I'm about to shoot this basic one with my finger. This one.
Do you have a favorite tester?
Freestyle.
Freestyle. We do have a backup though, don't we? So we have extra supplies. Nope, and you just put it right at the end?
Either do it here
Okay.
or here.
Yep.
Here it hurts and here it hurts. And I set it on 2.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, the setting is important. I see that too. Please wait.
Do people set it on 5?
If they have very calloused fingers, they would have to set it on 5, yep. And then after Abel checks his blood, then Daddy and I record it in our notebook that we keep right there on the counter. And then we compare it with what Dex says and calibrate if we need to.
We calibrate if he's at least over 5 off sometimes.
Yeah, I like to calibrate if he's 10 or greater off. Alright, anything else, Abel?
No. I can't find
Alright, then lastly, we dispose of the sharps and clean up our space. And that's it.
It's a real problem.
We test Abel's blood before every meal. And then...
Whenever he says I'm low or high.
Right. Whenever Dex says he's low or high, because we treat off of the blood, not off of the Dex. Pretty simple. Is that the soundtrack to this clip, Daddy? Daddy's gonna sing for this one.
Not really.
There's Abel drawing his own insulin.
Oh, hey, Leathermere, I'll stick you in my leg, not my rear, because I need insulin today.
Oh my gosh. Daddy.
My insulin's amazing. My basal keeps from getting hazy. It helps me keep an even line today.
There we go. The man's talented. All right, let's show it.
What you do to me. Sorry.
That looks good. Very good. You want me to
Wait,
confirm
I'm
it?
gonna
and give
show
it to you?
Daddy.
Yeah. Yep, cap it. Good job, buddy.
This is how we make homemade ice cream. We have to go get all the ingredients. Full fat coconut milk and stevia. Now can opener. I have to shake this up. Oi. And be ready to tap it again when it goes black. Okay. Okay. Now ready to tap it again. Are you going out? Abram, is it black?
I'm going this way, though.
Abram, is it black?
I love you guys.
I just tapped it and it was sleeping, but now it's not. No, look at that. I'm gonna lick it. See, it's real good. I just put a lot in there because it's bigger. I do an extra for that. Okay, messy part. And there's so much ice cream. Like, I get a lot of ice cream today.
Do I get second most?
And yours will have quite a bit. Yours will be this one.
I said this one.
No, you're this one. I made it.
Fine. Anyway, anybody ice cream always looks tasty.
Trying to make it even before everyone tries to fight me.
I'm not gonna fight you this time. I know you are gonna let me pick. So, good job.
Okay, so today we want to talk to you about different ways that we have encouraged and really let Abel take the lead on participating in his own management. And we always want to keep it very age appropriate, but we also want to encourage him as much as possible. Again, at some point he's going to have to do it all by himself. So I don't think it's too early to start where it's okay for him to participate. So Abel is the one I had to physically restrain for flu shots. Like, it was uncomfortable going to get his shots because I would have to bear hug him. So this is not a child. This is not a child who this should be a super easy transition, having to give at least 5 shots a day to. This was a big deal in my mind. But Abel, since the very beginning, since we took him into urgent care, and then he went into the hospital in DKA, he was an absolute champ. He was still very respectful and courteous to all of the nurses and all of the amazing staff that we encountered. But I was just very surprised. He would watch them do his shots, and he would watch them do his finger pricks to check his blood. So then he wanted mommy to start doing it. So I was very grateful that the hospital that we were at, the nurses let me start to do his shots. So I really greatly appreciated that. One, to give me confidence, but also to help with that transition for Abel also. So from the very beginning, though, when we came home, Abel wanted to start doing his own pricks. And yeah, absolutely. Like, there's that zero risk. Like, please, do it. I will say that there are some times when I still get anxious, and I just want to know the reading right now. And Abel won't get the prick every time. He likes to get a little bit closer to the cuticle. He really wants to avoid the pads of the fingers, of course, because that's where all the nerves are. So I'm not perfect at all, and I have to take a lot of deep breaths sometimes. When
she said it here. You guys heard it too, right?
Stop. When
I'm not the only one who heard that.
I think I'm very happy with admitting that I'm not perfect, but it is a source of anxiety for me when I just want to know where he's at, and it takes him a few times to prick. But I don't want to take that away from him, because we want him to participate as much as possible in this. So he does his own blood pricks, and he sets everything up. He does a great job with it. So he started doing that right away when we came home from the hospital. We were using a pen for his insulin when we came home from the hospital because we were on 1 unit increments. And right away, Abel wanted to start doing that himself. So we would, of course, everything supervised. We would let him dial in the pen, and he would do his own injections. He was doing them both in his abdomen and in his legs. Once we went low carb, we have needed the ability to do smaller dose increments. And also we started doing it in the back of his arm with syringes. So we had to switch to syringes. And Abel has not wanted to do that himself, which I totally understand. So we let him make that transition. Sean and I do it. But there's still ways that we ask him that he wants to participate, and we encourage that. So he draws his own insulin, again, with supervision. And he does he has younger eyes than us. I would argue he gets he does a better job sometimes than we do with it, but we always have 2 sets of eyes on it, and we verbally say, hey, this is the dosage that we are giving you. Again, it's his body. Like we always want him to know what is going on with it, and I think any way to empower him to be involved in what goes on with his body is very important.
Absolutely, and it's easy in the moment, the stress that is going on, to forget that you're playing the long game, and that the immediate information at the moment is not worth taking control of or diminishing his need to be in control of situations.
And his desire to be involved.
And I mean, I was just thinking about that, so I was doing the math real quick. We did a Bible study a while ago, and we realized that between 0 and 18, your child, that's 216 months. That's all you have with them until they're 18. And the last half of that, Abel's going to have to, the last 108 months of that almost, Abel's going to have to learn how to do that with type 1 diabetes, or a little more than that. So we want those to be enjoyable and informative and influential and positive months. So it's easy to lose sight of that. And you have to kind of find that balance. Find in the moment you need to push the issue because things are moving quicker, and you need to start figuring out what the solution is, and times when it's okay and it's just anxiety building up in you. We forget that it does build up in you, and it builds up in Abel, so in your child as well. Like there's a lot going on with Abel he's dealing with, and honestly, he's in some ways blowing me away in his maturity. In other ways, it's and because he does so well, it's easy to forget that he's just about to turn 9. So be patient with each other, be patient with them, and know that it's well worth the extra minute and the spent test strip that is no longer good because you put it in too quick into the tester.
Even though they are not cheap.
Even though they're not cheap. So it's okay. In the moment, it may seem like it's a mountain, but trust me, it is just a molehill. So we hope everything's going well, that these videos are helpful. God bless. Have a great week.